So we've got RPXP and we've got Mark System. He literally just walked across the lawn, which you can't see because you're just looking at me in this amazing pizza oven. The pizza oven of bass, where we don't cook pizzas, we cook bass, we do shoes, we cook content. I don't know what we're doing, I'm just talking nonsense. I'm waiting for somebody to be ready to talk to me. No, Mark, I'm going to ask you some questions. Don't put your microphone down. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm
Yeah?
Sun and bass.
Cool. Did you actually go out last night? I know you've been taking it easy. Or...
Yeah, I popped out last night.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any good?
Yeah, it was great. We heard Mantra doing her thing, which
Go on.
is I mean,
I'm a huge fan of Rupture, but I didn't go last night because I thought I was going to have an early night, and then I stayed up until 3 o'clock obsessing over what tunes I was going to play at my set tonight at Amber Day.
that's healthy.
Yeah, but at least I gave my voice a bit of a rest, really. 'Cause that was the thing. It's like, that's all we do. We just shout over the din, really, every single night. So it's like I just needed to take a break. But I know that you've been taking it easy. You're a regular at Sun and Bass. You've been taking it easy, haven't you, on this one?
Yeah, I mean, in the early years when I used to come here, I'd try and fit everything in, go everywhere I possibly could. And it's not an impossible task, but it's close to it.
It'll break you.
Yeah, and so now I pick my battles, and then I go into battle properly.
Yeah.
when I pick them right.
Yeah, roll your sleeves up and go into
that's
war.
it. Get dirty.
Go on, cool. Which direction are we going to go now? Because I want you to play some exclusive music. You've got an EP coming out on Sun and Bass.
Yeah.
What can you tell us at this moment?
There's 5 tracks. We've had the EP planned for a long, long time. People are nodding. Excuse me. I've been a perfectionist about it. There's been tracks that have been dropped and tracks that have been added. It wasn't originally planned to be. I think it was originally planned to be a single, and now there's 5 tracks. So they're made over a period of time. Some of it's very recent. Some of it's a few years old. So there's music that I've played in my sets at Sun and Bass in the past that have been important for me and for people that have danced to it. And then there's newer stuff that's kind of a bit more has less of a history to it. So it's a real mix.
So I think you know what set I'm going to ask you about. Would I recognise any of the tunes from that legendary set that I banged onto you about many, many times? And we talked about yesterday, not on the stream or anything, but just personally, that Cleveland What Kiss was given like a free curry at a festival recently because the food van really liked his mix so much. It's a mix that I listen to every single week. It's that one from the gazebo. Even Fabio come on the mic at the end and said it felt like the original days, that legendary mix. Are any of the tunes from the EP in that mix?
Yes.
Yeah. Is the tune that you're about to play in that mix?
No. Actually, I don't think it is. He's pointing a reference in their mix. I can't remember what I played. Oh, he says it is.
Oh,
RPXP
right.
is saying yes, it is from
I'll
the
be
mix.
able to tell you. Because I listen to the mix so much. And if you haven't heard it, viewers, big up everybody in the chat. Who are they interviewing? We're interviewing Mark System. Yes, I think this is on the mix. I'm not too sure actually. I'll hear it when it kicks in. But if you haven't, if you haven't, after this stream is done and dusted, and not during this stream because that would be rude, quite frankly. If you haven't, yes, this is on there, is it? This is definitely on the mix. Look up Mark System and Cleveland What Kiss. I think it's Sun and Bass number 90, the mix. Yes, this is one of the tracks that I've always wanted to identify as well. Like, go and listen to the mix. It's possibly one of the best ever live recorded mixes in drum and bass, full stop. Mighty strong words. If you've been watching these streams on the regular, you'll know I'm full of them. So what is this called? Point of reference. So big up Marie Key. Big up Gooder. Hello to Kink. No, the sibilance is really bad. It's really windy here. We're on quite a ropey rig. We're doing what we can. It's DIY. It's sun and bass. It's one more thing. It's a very windy day. And there's quite a big audience now in front of us. Loads of people have congregated. So coming up, after Mark's told us more about his release, we're going to be talking to Dogger. We're going to be talking to A-Side. We're going to be talking to Sabrina. And we've got a set from Addy J. Go on, this is awesome. You can spot a Mark System tune a mile off. Unhurried, space age, forward thinking, in a lane of their own. So is this kind of indicative, like the tunes on the EP you were saying were made over quite some period of time? Is that reflective of where you're at now, or is that quite nostalgic for an older, younger Mark System, as it were?
Are you talking about that tune we just listened to?
Yes,
yeah.
Point of reference.
That's one of the older ones. But it was, I don't think I've written anything like it before or since anyway. So to me, it's timeless. So, and it's the inspiration comes from the unusual arrangement and where it kind of catches you off guard and it builds. All comes from my influences from house and techno, which is still current. So. But I don't want to write anything else that does that again, because it spoils the magic of point of reference and the way it plays with your mind a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. The bass lines are slightly behind the beat, isn't it? Yeah.
All these little it's really simple, but it's this nuanced, like tiny detail in it. That you feel rather than actually hear.
These are the little tricks. This is something that I've spoken to Serum about in great detail recently in a really deep interview, but it's the tiny little details that people don't notice, but that's the 10% extra on a tune. That's what gives something its longevity and makes it special and makes it stand out, really. It's the tiny little kind of subtleties, isn't it? The characteristics and stuff like that.
Yeah, it is, and these little nuances also become part, I think, for producers, it becomes part of our character, the way that we do use these little tricks that just add that little extra sparkle on top, and like pushing a bass out a little bit late, just to add just a touch of swing that's not really noticeable. I find myself doing it a lot, and it just brings music to life. I know that we all do it. We all got these little just do that little thing, and and there you go. That's it. It comes together.
Yeah, nice. And a lot of that, I guess, is more just when you're in the kind of flow state. Really, you don't realise you're doing that. It's not a contrived thing that you would do on a tune. It's the momentum of how you're kind of bringing the track together in that way, I guess.
Yeah, it is, and it's part of the process. The way that the beautiful tunes come together when it's obvious that musicians have said it throughout history that the ones that sort of write themselves tend to be the good ones.
Yeah.
You can chip away at stuff for ages and weeks, and then one day just sit down for 4 hours and one just falls out, and I always think that it's probably the weeks and weeks of writing stuff you're not happy with that you had to go through to end up writing something that took you a few hours to get the entire idea down.
Definitely.
But it's you just do all those little. do all those little tricks without thinking.
Yeah.
It really just falls out of your hands.
Cool, man. What are we going to fall into next? Because I know you got more music to play and stuff.
I really want to play you a remix that I've just finished for...
I can babble mindlessly and talk to people in the chat and stuff like that while you try and dig that out. That's no problem. First of all, viewers, I can thank you all for watching. Anybody who's stuck with the stream, anybody who's watched all of the shows as well. I want to give a huge shout out to Gooder, who's been moderating the chat and stuff on Twitch and easing me into Twitch, because I'm brand new to Twitch and I'm already broadcasting from Sun and Bass on here. So thank you to all of the viewers. I want to give a couple of shout outs. Who are we shouting at? Budman Stevel 1210. Someone saying my voice is getting deeper and deeper. Yeah, I'm getting less and less sleep every night as well. I've actually got some lozenges this time, and I've stopped talking for an entire night in order to be able to broadcast to you. My voice is getting deeper. Maybe we're just catching me maturing and my balls are dropping live on air on Sun and Bass. This is the type of babbling I'm doing on your behalf, Mark. I hope you're happy. I'm embarrassing myself to give you time to find your track. I'm just checking that the stream is working fine. Yeah, are we ready?
Yeah, no, I'm not ready at all.
Oh.
I just thought I'd interject and say how very good you are at it. Give me another 5 minutes, I reckon, and we'll
problem
get
at
to
all.
it. Yeah.
So right, we will be joined very, very soon as well. Stick around if you're able to on this very windy Friday. We've got Dogger, we've got A-Sides, we've got Sabrina, and we've got Addy J as well. And other stuff seems to be happening and stuff like that. You know, you never really know with this type of live content who else is going to kind of walk up and maybe get involved or collared in. Over the last few days, we've had people like Jumping Jack Frost come in very quickly. We've had Dom and Roland just sitting right in front of this kind of table situation that we've got, sticking his finger up. We've done streams in the rain. We've done streams in absolutely baking hot 30 plus degrees heat. And pretty much everything in between, except for snow. But I don't think there's any snow forecast. It is really, really windy. And if you're watching, Sun and Bass live on Facebook at the moment, you're actually in Sun and Bass and you're wondering what to do tonight, 7 o'clock, Amber Day. There's some DJ called No Dave. He's an idiot. Don't go and see him. Have we found our remix yet? No, he's going front. He's digging for another USB now.
I've got a version of it.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
It's not the version you want to play, or
the version. All it is just a mixed version. I know it's not the one that I chose in the end, but I know no one's going to notice the difference. There's 11 different mixes that I did of this track.
Wow.
And only I can tell the difference. You know, it's just like, just turn that hi-hat up just like 0.5 dB, and so no, it's exactly the same. So there's a small record label about to launch in Ibiza called WOM Records. It's actually a cafe in a town called Santa Eulalia called Word of Mouth, and they're a music focused place. They've set this record label up. The first release is by a guy called Sasha Galperin, and the tune's called Now, and I've remixed it. And one of the rules about this record label is that you can only release on the record label if you've played at this beach cafe.
Right.
And I've been going there for years. I met my girlfriend there, Natalie. Shout out to Natalie. And I've made loads of friends there. This place is really important to me. It's absolutely beautiful. It looks out onto the sea. So it's really inspirational for musicians. Lots of DJs play there. You always see a lot of producers hanging around there. They have live bands in there.
Proper creative hub, like.
It is, and the main guy there, Harry Charles, the creative director, gave me complete freedom. He said, I want you to do this remix. I completely trust you with it. And at first it was going to be, we were talking about me making this 12-minute long drum and bass thing. And I spent a year messing around with that, and it just wasn't working. So I ended up making something that's 111 BPM. And with all my drum and bass influences, but it just felt like it felt like it was much more natural flowing that way.
What? I said anything could happen, and look at this. Grooverider's coming in. Come on, man, grab the microphone. What's going on? Are you okay?
Yeah, we're getting out of here, so thank you, Sun and Bass.
There we
and that's the
go.
interview you wanted, Dave.
Brilliant, there we are. Mic drop. Don't drop the mic, that one's mine. Brilliant. See, there we go. Anything can happen. Thank you very much, Groove. Wicked.
Pleasant travels.
Yeah. Amazing, right. 11 BPM, I think, was where we were at.
111, not 11. Wow, we'll be here all day.
Brilliant, right, 111 BPM.
Yeah.
This is brilliant. And who did you say was a remix of again?
The artist is Sasha Galperin. He's a guitarist,
Wow.
and the track is called Now.
Right.
And it's the first release on One. It's not out yet. Not sure when. I'm not sure when it's going to come out. They're pressing on vinyl, and so that's anyway. It's a dub. It won't be out for a while.
Okay, we're back in exclusive town.
Mark
We never
System
left.
remix.
Brilliant.
You're in tune with the One More Thing Sun and Bass Social. Keep it locked.
Instantly liking the sound of this.
Dave's just told me the clock's ticking, and although the track's 8 minutes long, there's only going to be about 5 minutes of it.
Yeah, so this will be a slightly snippeted version, but we're going to speed it up so you can hear more of it. I'm cracking the whip here. This is live content from Sun and Bass, One More Thing Social, etc. this is Mark System actually playing the trumpet. You play the trumpet?
Yeah, enough to record. Not really well enough to play live. I did play live with Rhea and Colette Warren once at Sun and Bass. Just came off for one track.
Wow! Yeah. Wow! Was that your first instrument that you learned to play?
Yeah, it was. That's what I started on. Yeah.
Wow! Lots of things might blow your mind about Mark System if you're a newer fan to drum and bass. You actually started as an MC as well, didn't you?
In drum and bass as an MC. Yeah. And loved it. But I mean, I started writing music as a kid, so I've always written first. But professionally as a drum and bass MC, yeah.
I need this. This is exactly the type of stuff. In fact, I could imagine playing this when I'm playing later on. I like starting with this tempo and building it up and up and up. This is,
yeah. I've been enjoying playing it in sort of mixed genre sets as well. It's an unusual tempo. It's not much around it. 111 BPM, but that was just the speed that it just fitted.
Sometimes, and I'm always fascinated by this, and I am going to fade that out because there's so many people to talk to and so much stuff to get through before we wrap up in this final episode. But I'm fascinated by that. The tempo the tempo decides itself with a lot of tracks, doesn't it? I mean, obviously, if you're just making one genre, then you're going to stick at that tempo. But when you're going across the board in that type of way, the speeds will kind of find itself in that way, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I think that was the problem I had when I was chipping away at this track trying to make it a drum and bass remix. I can't remember the tempo of the original, but it's slower. It's like about 95 or something like that. And it meant that if I doubled the melodic elements in the track, it just sounded stupid. Slowed them down, it sounded ridiculous. So I had to end up 111 BPM, which is natural. And I was lucky that the label owner was cool with me just doing whatever I wanted with the remix, and it gave me an opportunity to stretch out and do something I wouldn't normally do, and put music out that people aren't used to hearing me make.
We need more of that. That resonates for me. That's the type of briefing that I give anybody who's releasing music on One More Thing as well. Stretch out, like do something different, feel completely free, and don't worry about any expectations. But I think, kind of as an artist, you've been through that journey yourself anyway of stretching out, really, and that's why you kind of do what you do in the way that you do. You've gone past that point of worrying about kind of fulfilling expectations or anything like that, and you stretch out anyway as an artist, I think, really.
Yeah, I do, but I still feel restricted by. I'm a drum and bass producer, and I think in any music I make, and I've written all across the board, written a lot of media music, and that's totally different stuff. But I've written a lot of house and techno and hip hop over the years, but I kind of feel like it always sounds like a drum and bass producer making that genre. But this remix is me being me. It felt totally natural. Don't feel like drum and bass was holding me back with the track.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've turned a corner with it, and I'm going to be releasing more music that fits outside of drum and bass, alongside the drum and bass that I make.
I love that.
I feel like I've cracked it, basically.
Go on, that's wicked. I think this is a conversation to have at a different point because it's so deep and it could go on for ages and involve so many producers. But I actually think that drum and bass producers, when they tie their hand at another genre, smash it because of the ridiculously high levels within drum and bass. But whereas if let's say a house producer, let's say Tiesto, tries a drum and bass track. I don't know if that's ever happened or not. It's usually not very good.
No comment.
Talking hypothetically, of course. But do you know what I mean? Like, I think when someone comes from drum and bass and tries another genre, there is a different twang because it's the technical chops of drum and bass are at such a level.
For me, but I actually think there's a common misconception. Through listening to loads of different styles of music and getting deeply into other genres, I realised that they're all highly skilled. Like all these genres in
even
dance
EDM?
music.
Even when you're just using splice
EDM,
samples?
Definitely. Well, I mean, if you're using splice samples, there's less of a skill, but it's still an incredible musical ear to understand what samples to put together. But there's so much music that it's easy to discount because we don't fully understand it. We all know drum and bass really well. We understand how technical it is, and it is famous for having a really technical edge to it, and it's nerdy. But I've dissected so much other music and realised that it's just deep and highly skilled in different ways. We're
Right,
probably
cool.
looking in the wrong places, you know.
No, or looking with blinkers on and making assumptions, perhaps. But yeah, I think that's a really interesting take, and you're absolutely right. The more you dig into anything, nothing is clear cut in that type of way, really. I think, I'm not a producer either, so I do base this off on a lot of things that are, told to me in interviews and stuff like that. But because of the hecticness, the pace, the energy, the intensity, and just the production levels that over the years have been set by the noises of the world, for example, and stuff like that, that it is another world. So it's great to hear that other perspective there, really. We're going to wrap up now. We're going to get Dogger now. We're going to get Dogger up onto the microphone now and wrap up the Sun and Bass recordings part of this. But, have you enjoyed this week?
Absolutely loved it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What's next on the Mark System schedule?
What have we got next? Worried About Henry closing party at Eden in Ibiza. I'm playing a closing set. So I'm playing the last tune at Worried About Henry. I know, it's crazy. We could have sat and talked about this. I've been playing Worried About Henry in Ibiza.
That's amazing.
They've given me freedom to be Mark System there, which is fantastic. And gives me an opportunity to speak to an audience that I wouldn't normally speak to musically. I don't know what I'm going to play for my last tune.
I think that's a real honour, and that's something really, really exciting, because a lot of people are going to Ibiza. It might be the first time they might be there on their first ever clubbing holiday. They might be 18, they're hearing drum and bass. They know about Boo, they know about all of the kind of big stuff that's happening at the moment and stuff like that. And then if they're staying to the end, they're raving to the end, you're going to take them to some places that they don't know exist yet.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
What an honour.
I've done at least one closing set there. And actually, I'll tell you a quick story. If you've got just 2 seconds, I planned a mix for the end of this set, and I forgot that I was playing an hour and a half. And it meant starting the mix 10 minutes early so that the tune finished exactly on time. And I was watching the clock, and so the whole mix finishes right on time. I was like, wow, that went perfectly. I can't believe it. I don't normally plan mixes, so I put a lot of pressure on myself to make sure I got this right. And people that were in front of me were just giving me these weird looks. And someone shouted to me saying, "You've still got another half an hour." And I felt, oh my God. And I just laughed at myself for the next 15, 20 minutes. Actually, that last half hour was my favourite bit of the set, because I just completely let go.
A free-for-all then. Yeah. Like, oh, wow, go on.
Won't do that again.
Amazing. I hope that doesn't happen, because I've got loads of packing to do. I'm flying tomorrow, so I hope nobody comes up to me at the end of this show and says, no, you've got another half hour, and there's nobody left to interview, and I'm just standing here babbling in my stupid croaky voice. So we are going to invite the next guest. Mark System, thank you very much. Can we get a round of applause, please? Yay!
Thanks for having me, Dave.
Cool, awesome.
Thanks,
thank you very much, man. Awesome. Wicked. Cool.